So the Canon M50 Mark II is not this camera.
No. But we've been doing some research on it, and it's a camera we know that people want to hear about. So we thought we'd give you our thoughts on this camera, if it's going to be able to replace the M50, and if you should even make the effort to buy that if you have an M50 already. Is it worth it to replace it?
Yeah, we've known this is coming out for a long time, but Canon just recently officially announced the new Canon M50 Mark II and all the specs and everything involved. So we figured we'd take some time to tell you about what's exciting, what's not exciting, what's the same, what's different, and whether or not maybe it's worth it to look into getting the Mark II version.
So if you're wondering what we're doing, we're actually trying to kill a 12-hour day in my truck. We are heading down to the Carolinas to do some waterfall photography, and Eric's done a ton of research, and we're going to spend a few days down there, and we got the RV behind us, and our plan was to do a live stream on YouTube, but apparently our channel doesn't qualify to do a live stream, so we're recording it here and we're going to have to upload it.
So just know that this is like not a live stream, but it's probably like a 10 minutes ago stream. We're going to post this thing pretty much right away, so you're getting pretty close to live.
Yeah. So let's talk about the camera. Physically, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, physically the Mark II is basically, size and weight is exactly the same, and the nuts and bolts of it, the hardware, is basically the same. The sensor is the same. Mechanically, it's basically the exact same camera, but there's a few improvements which, if those are the kind of things that you need, that you're into, could be pretty good.
So one of the things that I was really hoping for, I found that one of the shortcomings of the Canon M50 is its low light performance, and I've been saying it since we got it, and it's just the ISO gets very noisy. I mean, the images get noisy when you have to raise the ISO up. So I was really hoping that they were going to change the sensor or do something to address that, but they didn't.
No, it seems like it's going to be the same. The same sensor, which means you're going to have the same low light, high ISO performance that you had before. Anything over, once you hit about 3200, maybe even 1600.
Before that,
it starts going downhill pretty quick.
Yeah. So one of the things that they did change about this camera is the autofocus. They made it better.
Yeah, the autofocus is definitely better, and they specifically improved the eye detection autofocus, which was a feature on this M50, which is a feature on the Canon R. And basically with the newer version of these cameras, with these mirrorless cameras, they've improved the eye detection. And I can tell you that's one of the best features of any of these lines of cameras, is the eye detection autofocus and eye tracking, basically, also. So rather than just tracking a subject or tracking a face, it's actually tracking the eyes. And as a person's moving closer or further away, back and forth, in and out of a scene, it'll track it, and exactly when you, at the moment that you take the image, it's going to actually be focused on the eye, which in some cases can be really important if you're using a shallow depth of field, and you want to make sure that the eye is in focus. To be able to track that way is really, really valuable. And the eye focus with the M50 was pretty good, and they made significant improvements to the technology for the Mark II. It's supposed to be a lot better.
Yeah, now using a lens, like when I took the 56mm Sigma lens away with me last year, and that's a 1.4 lens. Right. And that's where you don't want to miss focus. When the depth of field is that shallow, if you pick up someone's nose instead of their eye, their face is in focus, but it might look a little off. And those are things you'll notice, especially if it's a tight crop in the shot.
Right. Yeah, and that technology, the eye detect autofocus, is invaluable. If you're shooting especially portraits or just casual family stuff, to not have to worry about where your focus point is, and to just be able to compose and shoot away is such a huge thing. I found just in the past year using it with the Canon R, it's such a huge improvement to be able to just, not even worry about make sure my focus point is in the right corner, or make sure that my subject doesn't move, just to be able to get it just right and always have focus wherever the subject happens to be in the frame.
Right. And so another thing that they changed with this camera is its ability to live stream. Now, we've been doing some research on this, and while it sounds great, I'll be able to stream live, it's not quite as user-friendly as you would think it would be. So we thought we would maybe do a live upload today to our YouTube channel, and we have the Canon M50 with us. But the M50 Mark II, instead of doing it on our phone, we could use that to do the live stream. But it turns out that You have to have a YouTube channel that, I guess, I don't know, what do you think the requirements are?
I'm not sure.
I mean, we have almost 10,000 subscribers. Maybe 10,000 is the threshold, but we're not allowed to live stream on YouTube. And YouTube is the only platform that this feature on the M50 Mark II works with.
Right. So you have to use your, if you have it, a Canon image account, which basically is the new Canon technology where they want you to basically, upload all of your photos and back up your photos to the Canon site. You have to have an account with that, and you'd have to use that account to basically send your video through that and onto YouTube. So it's a cool feature if you're going to be live streaming, to be able to do it with a really nice camera with a really nice lens and get good video quality. Just jumping through a couple of hoops to be able to do it, you have to do.
And you have to qualify.
And you have to qualify.
Yeah.
Another thing is you can actually shoot video vertically now with the M50.
Yeah,
so
and I think that's with the advent of like TikTok and all this stuff. I mean, so you would hold the camera this way instead of
right. And now you're getting the vertical video format, which fits onto the phone, which is really what everybody wants to see now.
Yeah.
Even though I think video should be in horizontal format, the way it is now with the mobile phones and everything, so much video is being done vertically now, and with the M50 it gives you the capability of shooting video vertically.
So were there any other big changes?
That was really about it.
It's pretty much the same camera. It's got the same sensor, same processor. Physically, it's the same size. The screen, I think, is about the same.
Yeah.
The viewfinder, the same amount of, everything's kind of stayed the same. But the price has also stayed the same.
Yeah, the price is basically the same.
So that's really nice. So if you don't have a Canon M50 and you were thinking about it, I would say, unless they really discount the M50,
right,
get the new one, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't need those features, if you don't need the live video features, then if you can get, like Bill just said, a deep discount on the original M50, it might be worth doing that instead. But if you're going to be using live streaming, you can also use it as something that we forgot to mention, as a webcam. If you hook it up to your Canon account, also you can use it as a webcam.
This blurry video. I hope this is watchable. I really.
Every time if you want to use your on your computer, on your laptop, if you want to use this as a webcam instead of the built-in one, you're getting a much higher quality video, so you can use it for that also.
Yeah, but I think the eye autofocus is a worthy upgrade. Like just that alone, we use this camera to make, pretty much talking head videos, so we're not super worried about the video part of it. But as a photography camera, it's a really good camera, and I think if you're getting this for primarily photography, that eye autofocus is going to be something that you're really going to appreciate, I think.
Right. So that might be worth, even if you spend an extra $100 or $200 for the newer version of it, rather than a used or a discounted original version, the improved eye autofocus technology might be worth it just for that alone.
And the image stabilization in video went from 3-axis to 5-axis digital stabilization, which is not the best. You get wobbly edges, and it's but it's there and it's something. So they did improve that also.
Right. So that's for video only. Digital image stabilization for video
nice if it was a little bit better. For photography, like that's where I would like to see it.
It will be eventually.
Yeah. So what was the? So I think. Is this something that you're going to upgrade to? Should I upgrade to? I think for our purposes, I'm not going to.
I'm not going to either.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with my M50. For what we're doing it, for shooting video mostly, for either, on a tripod or carrying it around. It's so small and lightweight. It's perfect for that. And, the occasional, uses when we use it to take still images, it's basically the exact same camera for that as the new version.
Yeah, and the image quality is not changing. So you're really... only in specific situations are these improvements really going to matter to you, or you're very heavily into video. But for us, I don't think it's worth the upgrade. So we're going to probably just stand pat with our M50s, and kind of, ride it out and see what happens. We love the camera. I keep adding lenses to my kit, so it's been great. It's a very nice camera, and when I don't want to carry around a big DSLR, I feel completely confident using this in almost any situation. The only time I don't is like a dark environment, like a party or a wedding or something like that. But I would only be going as a guest. I would never use it professionally anyway. So, if the images are a little grainy, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about how good the original M50 is is that a few years later they don't even see the need to upgrade or change the existing, you know, hardware or sensor or anything, because the image quality that you're getting is really top-notch.
It's a great form factor. I mean, it fits in your hand nice. It feels like a DSLR. It's just small, and it's super portable.
Right.
You know, it's got a very responsive back screen. The menus are easy to use. You know, as a Nikon user, I've learned to really like using the Canon touchscreen on the back. I like that, and you know, my Nikon doesn't have a touchscreen in the back, so I'm curious, you know, if I ever upgrade my DSLR, how that is going to compare to this, because I really like the way Canon has it set up.
Right. So, other than that, pretty cool announcement. Finally, we knew it was coming, but it was good to hear the announcement. And you know, check it out. Look into it yourself if you're looking to get a camera like this. We've got a ton of videos here about the M50. You can check out the playlist. Really, really highly recommend this camera. And like we said, a few extra little bells and whistles. Most notably, the eye detect autofocus are something that's important to you. Probably better off going then with the new Mark II version, which isn't out yet, but it's going to be out really soon.
Okay, so we're back to spending a whole day driving. This is going to be a long drive. I'm sure we'll have some video content, some images for you to check out for our trip. This looks like where we're going in North Carolina is, what area would you say, like the Pisgah Forest area?
Yeah, south of Asheville.
South of Asheville. It looks like waterfall Mecca. Yeah. It's there's just a million waterfalls down there, so it should be a fun few days. So we'll definitely have some content from there, I'm sure.
Yeah, look forward to a video and definitely some pictures from there coming up soon.
Okay, so you know, we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching.